It seems that more and more in the gaming space, studios are opting to make live service games instead of these standalone titles meant to captivate audiences. Now, this isn't going to be another live service is terrible video. We have watched so many of those over the last couple of years, I don't want to make any more of them. What I want to talk about today is how gaming used to be something that you used to do for fun when time allows, instead of what it's become now, which is making a game, or multiple games, a near lifestyle. I want to be crystal clear before we get into the weeds of all of this. I am not making a judgment on people who spend a lot of time playing video games. I used to spend a lot of time on them myself. I don't care about what you do with your time, it's your life. What I'm aiming to talk about in this video is the clear attempt by companies to capture players in this dungeon of forever games without any real reward. The whole notion of forever games isn't new at all. When I hear about the term forever games, I think about MMORPGs. MMOs have a special place in my heart. I grew up on games like Star Wars: The Old Republic and Cartoon Network's Fusion Fall. For many people, what comes to mind is games like World of Warcraft and RuneScape. These games were designed to be incredibly long, narrative-infused role-playing games meant to be played with a lot of other people, hence the term massively multiplayer online role-playing game. The MMO concept has always been a really cool concept for me. Imagine a fantasy world where you could be whoever you wanted. From a mage trying to heal others, to a grand knight, to an evil sorcerer. You had a way to create an ideal, fictional version of yourself, and the best part about that was that you could essentially go through a life cycle and see yourself grow over time, as a player, and whatever story was being told in the particular MMO. Starting as a lowly level 1 bounty hunter in Star Wars: The Old Republic was so awesome in 2011. It felt like I could be the person I always dreamed of. Most of this was childish dreaming, but at the time, it was everything a young NoblePlays could think about. I got on every single day and played for hours, trying to level up my character so I could access new content and have greater power. There was definitely an incentive to spend a lot of time in games like this. So if that's the case, what's the problem with them? Well, honestly, there's nothing wrong with MMORPGs. The reason older MMOs worked out so well was because they provided content that would easily take hours upon hours to complete. There were no level skips or experience boosters. You had to put in all the work on your character, so your emotional attachment to said character would grow naturally, and stronger than how it is today. Now, most MMO players are familiar with buying the base game and then paying for a monthly subscription. This used to be worthwhile, but nowadays it hasn't been quite an even exchange. This is where the problem starts. Companies who aren't known for making MMORPGs, like 343 Industries, are trying to get on the crazy revenue stream that these MMOs provide their companies. The main example I'll be using for this video is Halo Infinite. Now, I'm not going to give you a history lesson on the woes of Halo Infinite, but there was a conversation back in 2020 that I think speaks volumes for the state of these modern forever games. In an interview with IGN, former studio head Chris Lee talks about the future of the Halo franchise. Quote, "Halo Infinite is the start of our platform for the future. We want Infinite to grow over time, versus going to those numbered titles and having all of that segmentation that we have had before," he said. He goes on to say, quote, "It's really about creating Halo Infinite as the start of the next 10 years of Halo, and then building that as we go along with our fans and community." This was a massive miss for 343, however, as Chris left the studio a few years after this, followed by head of 343 Industries, Bonnie Ross, a few years later. I bring this up because this shows the mindset of most of these studios now who are designing these modern, forever games. 343 went away from what made Halo great and opted for this live service open world model, which could have worked if they had simply made a different game. You can have the standalone Halo titles and then say, make a Halo version of Destiny 2 or make a Halo MMORPG. That would have made more sense. Why is that, you might ask? Because there's an expectation with the MMO genre, from thousands of hours of content available at release to amazing storytelling that brings players into the world they are experiencing. Halo Infinite launched with nothing, not enough content to support launch, and minimal content updates thereafter. And in 2024, Halo was probably at the state it should have been at launch. but that is not the point of this video. Halo Infinite becoming a forever game was a stupid idea to start with. Nobody plays shooter titles forever. That was never the goal. The only reason you played Halo 3 for so many years was because you were waiting in anticipation for the next installment, nothing more. Sure, you were enjoying the game and had fun playing it, but everyone knew that games back in the day were meant to be played for a time. Companies have seen the success of these MMOs and are doing their best to replicate it, I guess, but they aren't doing what's necessary to foster that type of revenue. Maybe revenue isn't the right word, maybe it's fan love. Outside of MMOs, games were never designed to be played forever. They were made as a temporary escape from reality. As a teenager and a young adult, I loved the idea of forever games, but as I grew older, I realized that playing video games forever isn't feasible. I have bills to pay and a family to provide for. Now, this isn't me telling you that you cannot have a main game that you play. That is natural and a normal part of gaming. It's perfectly fine to pick up a game, fall in love with it, and play it for multiple months, maybe even multiple years. And this also doesn't mean that I don't play video games anymore, obviously. I have been playing them my entire life, and while I maybe play for about 3 hours a week, I still look forward to a little escape here and there. But there's a key distinction that I want to make. What I'm trying to say is that video games are best when you can play them over a long period of time, not for a long period of time. Listen to that back in case that didn't make any sense. And to better clarify my point, I'm going to play a great clip from a video I saw while writing the script by The Watchover. He talks about the point of most free-to-play live service games just sucking, but we still play them. And this also can be used in our definition of forever games.
Fortnite shouldn't just be a game that you play. It should be a part of your lifestyle. I'll say that again because I think it sums up what's really happening here. To Epic Games, Fortnite shouldn't just be a game that you play. It should be a part of your lifestyle.
That clip hit me hard when I was watching it because I had been feeling this way about games for the last 3 or 4 years. These games I'm playing aren't just games to play. They're trying to become a core part of my life, which didn't sit well with me personally. The games that are being made today are all live service. The expectation of these studios is that they'll be able to hook you on a game and milk your wallet for years to come. The crazy thing about this is that most of these games do not even offer what is worth the time or money investment anymore. I can't imagine playing Halo Infinite for 10 years straight. There is just no incentive to play that long. There's no reward and no meaning in it. At least with games such as World of Warcraft, I'm paying for access to an expansive world that I can create my own character in, and take that character on a journey that could be worth 10 years. I played SWTOR for about 13 years, and most of that time was spent as a teenager and in my early 20s. But now I play when I have time for it or when I feel like it, which isn't that often. Now, I'm not coming for MMOs. I love them. I think they're one of the coolest types of games. What I have an issue with is every major game coming out tries to get you to play forever. And maybe it's just me, but I have gotten far away from these types of games in the last year or so, partially because I've finally gotten away from the constant need and want to game. I play them when I want to break, usually just for a little more than an hour, and that could be done by playing Star Wars Outlaws or playing Fortnite Reload with my friends. I clearly still play live service games, as that's what most games are that are multiplayer, but I treat them how I would say Mario Kart or some other casual game. So is there an example of a good forever game? I think so, and that's Minecraft. It seems like every gamer, regardless of age, has this 2-week Minecraft phase. I think that this phase is one of the last bastions of pure gaming in the modern era. It seems like once a year I get an itch to boot up Minecraft. Sometimes I'll get a few friends to play, but most of the time it's just me loading up a new single-player world and building a base. I'm not even concerned with getting to the end. I'm exploring the biomes and seeing what new NPCs got added since I last played, trying to decide what types of bases to build or what I'd focus on in this particular playthrough. This would take me about 2 to 3 weeks for playing a total of 10 hours in that time period. And at the end of it, I would log off and look forward to this time next year when I do it all over again. That is a great definition of playing a game over a long period of time versus playing a game for a long period of time. Meaning, over 10 years, I can put in 200 hours, instead of 1 year putting in 2,000 hours, and feeling the need to put that time in, whether it's for an event or getting some limited time cosmetics, or whatever drip feed of content these games are providing. To conclude this little thought experiment, I find myself becoming a little disenfranchised with gaming, at least with the more modern titles. There are a few gems here and there, but it just seems like most of these games aren't being made for enjoyment. Rather, they are being made to suck as much time and money out of you as possible, leaving you empty and nothing to show for your time. Gaming isn't an experience anymore, it's a way of life. And for me personally, that's not a life I want to live. I hope you found my take on forever games interesting or compelling. I really think that the older games really did have a good sense of what it meant to kind of have a forever game in a healthy way, but I don't think that's the current state in 2024. If you liked the video, be sure to subscribe for more content like this, and if you're looking to watch more today, feel free to check out How to Enjoy Video Games Again, or Why Minecraft Has Been So Dominant for Years. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Noble, and I will see you guys in the next one later on.